There is one tiny, almost invisible mistake that is absolutely destroying students' scores on the Cambridge IT 9626 exam. And honestly, it has absolutely nothing to do with how many hours you've spent studying. If you're taking this exam, you already know the stakes are incredibly high, but right now there is a silent grade killer lurking in your revision strategy. Let's expose it. Take a look at this typical exam answer for Syllabus Section 1.3 on the uses of encryption. Encryption makes data safe so hackers can't read it when sent over a network. Sounds perfectly fine, right? It sounds exactly like what you've read in a textbook or a standard revision guide. But I'm telling you right now, this is a massive trap that catches thousands of candidates every single year. If you write that exact sentence on your paper, 0 marks, literally nothing. And just like that, your grade boundaries are in serious jeopardy. Why? Because it completely lacks the analytical depth that the examiners are actively hunting for. You might know what encryption fundamentally does, but giving them this kind of superficial breadth is exactly what the Cambridge Assessment Framework penalizes. This is exactly why ordinary brute force revision fails. We have to look at the top 3 warnings straight from the Cambridge Principal Examiner reports. Number 1. Answers for 1.3 are just way too vague. Examiners want highly specific details. Number 2, students completely forget to check their format and presentation. And 3, which is perhaps the most fatal, ignoring the specific context given in the question. Students are just reciting memorized facts instead of applying them. But here's the secret. Examiners actually desperately want to award you points. So your first quick win is mastering the method mark strategy. The academic benchmarks for 9626 require logical, structured reasoning. They award marks for your systematic process of reasoning, not just your final conclusion. They want to literally see the gears turning in your head on the page. To extract data and tackle unfamiliar contexts, you've got to follow a highly specific, step-by-step problem-solving sequence. You must deconstruct the given information, break it down into logical steps, solve it systematically, check if your answer is actually reasonable, and finally, make justified recommendations. It's no longer just about knowing what encryption is, it's about proving your professional analytical skills.
And to pull that sequence off flawlessly under time pressure, you absolutely must hardwire the PLJ framework into your brain to structure every single extended response. Point, evidence, explanation, link, and judgment. You have to build every answer using this exact architecture. It essentially forces your brain away from those vague, fluffy answers and pushes you directly into the analytical depth that secures the top mark bands.
Now, in just a moment, I'll show you the exact examiner clue that changes your answer completely. But first, you absolutely need the framework that makes that clue obvious. Because without understanding how to link your concepts, that clue is going to fly right over your head on exam day. So let's raise the stakes and apply this framework to a proper Cambridge-style systems encryption scenario. Here is our scenario. A hospital needs to protect its patient database using encryption. Justify your approach. Notice how we aren't just asking what is encryption anymore. We have an unfamiliar, highly specific context that demands a justified approach. I want you to actively pause this explainer right now. Seriously, pause it and predict exactly what the examiner is looking for in a top-band answer here. How would you apply point, evidence, explanation, link, and judgment to this specific hospital scenario? Think about the exact terminology you need to extract those method marks. Okay, got your answer in mind? Let's break it down. Look at the comparison here. Notice how the vague student answer on the left fails entirely. Use strong encryption so patient data is safe. Total failure. It ignores all the examiner warnings. But look at the top-band framework application on the right. It completely thrives. It identifies a specific protocol as the point, cites the database specs as evidence, and, crucially, creates a vital contextual link to patient confidentiality. Which brings us to a massive alert straight from the examiner reports. Candidates consistently confuse key terminology. You absolutely must define your terms before you use them in these extended responses. If you're bringing up protocols or specific systems encryption in your PLJ response, do not assume the examiner will just give you the benefit of the doubt. Define it clearly right away to secure your foundation. And you can see how this all builds into a standardized processing sequence, ensuring you develop professional skills and never drop those essential method marks. Whether you are extracting from texts or tables, you must identify the key elements, apply the relevant principles, execute your analysis with incredibly clear working, verify your results, and then present it in the appropriate format. All right, time for a quick spot the error challenge. Take a look at this student's attempt at the judgment phase. The encryption is flawless, therefore the system is completely secure. Think about everything we've just learned regarding analytical depth. Tell me, why would a Cambridge examiner immediately slash marks for making this bold statement? The fatal error there is a total lack of evaluative thinking. Top-scoring candidates always evaluate evidence quality by questioning assumptions and identifying limitations. Saying a system is completely secure just because the encryption is flawless completely ignores human error, alternative interpretations, and real-world system limitations. Your judgment phase has to be nuanced and evidence-based. But here is the ultimate trap, and honestly, this is a massive unresolved problem even for top-tier students. What happens when your perfectly structured PLJ answer, packed with evaluative thinking and flawless systems encryption knowledge, collides with the wrong command word? You could have all the right facts, but if you misread the hidden clues in the exam's command words, like confusing describe with evaluate, your entire strategy just collapses. You simply cannot afford to let that happen on exam day. To guarantee your high-mark strategy doesn't fall apart, your mandatory next step is diagnosing these exact command words. That is what will reveal exactly how to pivot your framework based on what the examiner is actually demanding from you. So, you now have the PELJ framework and the method mark strategy locked into your arsenal. But to solve that fatal command word trap we just uncovered, you need to clip into our next explainer on screen right now, where we diagnose exactly how those specific words decide your final mark band. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Ace the Exams, at acetheexams_IGCSE to excel in your Cambridge examinations.